Hey guys, welcome to Timeout with Kevin. This is Coach Phil Barnes. So the first question I ask everybody is, who's the hardest person you've ever played against and coached against?
The hardest guy I ever played against was the Filipino national champion. He went to UCO and we played like a 4 hour match when it was 110 degrees.
Oh my
And
goodness.
unfortunately, I didn't win.
Yeah,
We played 3 sets and he won. He was better.
that's
But
crazy.
it was crazy because it was 110 degrees.
Right.
And the surprising thing, the heat doesn't bother me very much, but that day my feet got hot because the court was so hot.
Yeah, right. Man, that's crazy. How about what's the hardest team you ever coached against? Your
The hardest
long
kid
career?
or the hardest team?
Hardest team.
Oh, there's no doubt. Girls wise, McGinnis. McGinnis kept us from winning state like 4 times in a row because we were the second best team in any class.
Right.
But the problem was, we beat Edmond North, Jinx, we just crushed them. McGinnis was the best team probably Oklahoma ever produced at that time.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
They didn't lose those kids, none of them lost a match against anybody in 4 years of
Oh wow,
competition.
that's crazy.
There was 8 Division I kids playing on that
And it's hard to get Division I scholarship in tennis.
Oh,
isn't
yeah.
it?
Yeah.
But it's one of the hardest
Because
sports.
tennis is not just a United States sport. In college, and you're starting to see it in basketball, internationals.
Right.
Tennis international sport. Like Melanie, my daughter, when she played, she was the only American on the team, and I bet in 4 years she played maybe 5 or 6
Oh
Americans.
wow, that's crazy. Wow, I didn't know. That's crazy.
Well, you're starting to get it now. In
Yeah,
basketball.
basketball.
But
Basketball's a lot
there's
international.
not just a whole lot, but you're starting to get
Yeah, some
a few
point
of
in.
them.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
basically, those kids, I don't know how it is in basketball, but tennis kids, most of them tried professional tennis and couldn't make a living, so then they come over here and go to school.
Right. Man, that's crazy. So, how was your high school experience?
Well, I was more of a basketball player than
Yeah.
tennis.
Yeah.
And, unfortunately for me, to pursue my basketball career, there wasn't much calling for 5'8" point guards.
Mm-hmm.
One of the bigger people. And I should have done more tennis once in school. That was more of a natural sport with the size I was.
Yeah. Yeah. But you loved basketball.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't regret basketball because I was fortunate enough to get to go to junior college and play. Played. I didn't ever start in junior college, but we played a great junior college team.
Yeah. Where'd you play
At Seminole.
Seminole. Okay. Yeah.
Seminole.
That's a powerhouse.
And Seminole back then was really good because
Yeah.
then it was harder to get into a D1 school just because of your academics. So we'd get a lot of kids that came there for a year or two, then they'd go to big places. Like I played on our team, we had one kid was the #1 draft pick, and the other one was Sam Smith. He went to UNLV, and he stuck around the pros 4 or
Man,
5
that's
years,
crazy.
which just blows my mind
Yeah.
how good you got to be. Because in junior college, he averaged 33 points.
Right, yeah, there's a lot of those guys that do get and end of the bench, get
Yeah.
Gatorade Players of the
Well,
Year and everything.
and
It's
Sam
crazy.
Smith probably would have been more productive in this era
Right.
because he could shoot out there.
Yeah,
And then
that was just lost back then.
Yeah, back then,
Yeah.
and when you got to the NBA, it was just kind of, okay, we're behind, put him in
Yeah.
and see if we can
So you
catch
played
him.
basketball and tennis at Seminole?
I just played basketball.
Just basketball, just basketball.
And then I went to East Central, started playing tennis, and I left there. Mainly the reason I left there, though, was they discontinued the program.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up USAO, and
Yeah.
played for 4
It's
years.
a lot, yeah.
2 years.
Yeah. So how was that experience for you in Chickasha?
Oh, I loved it. It was
Mm-hmm.
great. We had a really good team, and it was just great. And it was a perfect school.
Yeah. And so you graduated from Duncan and everything, so right?
From where?
So you graduated from Duncan.
No, I'm not from Duncan.
Where
I'm
you
from
from?
Seminole.
You're from Seminole.
I've been here for so long. It's like I've been from Duncan.
Yeah, okay. I always thought you were from Duncan.
No, I'm from Seminole.
Oh,
and
okay.
So that's
Okay, yeah, but still, that's still pretty close to home,
yeah.
Chickasha,
I went too far away.
Right. So,
I went like you and went to where's in Kansas.
yeah, I went to Kansas. Yeah, I went all the way in
I
Kansas.
bet Mom and Dad didn't like that too much.
The mom actually wanted me to go. She wanted me to explore and see different things.
Well, I understand that, but
She didn't want me to.
She didn't like her baby going that far away.
Yeah. When we had to move in, that's what I think. That's when it kind of hit her that I wasn't. But she was always like, "Go, go, go." You know what I mean? But then when I was when they left, it kind of tore her up.
It's never easy.
Right. It's hard. Yeah. I didn't even think. I was like, I'll be back on breaks and everything. It was hard for the first 3 weeks or so for me to just kind of get adjusted to all new people, new environments, and it was a lot different.
Well, and you went someplace probably you didn't know anybody.
I didn't know. Yeah, I knew my roommate. That was the only. I barely knew him. I knew him all through social media, so I didn't know anybody.
That's the same thing with my daughter. We took her to Charlton. We let her out. I told Paul, my wife, I said, she don't know anybody here. There was only, I told you all the international kids. Yeah. They consider Melanie an international kid because she's from Oklahoma. Right. There were 2 people from Oklahoma in her school.
Right. That's crazy. Yeah, I don't think we had anybody from Oklahoma. There was a lot on the girls coach at Tabor recruits all the Oklahoma girls, but man, I think I was the only one from Oklahoma on the boys team. I'm pretty sure. If I can remember, I think I was. And it's cool though seeing guys from California and Texas and other places, like to see how they kind of had it Florida. We had 2 guys from Florida, so it was cool seeing that, but like I was like, man, it's nothing like little Oklahoma, man. Nothing like so. You had a successful career at USAO. So what made you get into coaching? Did somebody tell you that you would be a great coach? Like, how did all that come about?
I wanted to coach both basketball and tennis. Mm-hmm. And when I first got and when I started doing it at USAO, I was a tennis pro at the country club out there for a couple of years. And now here's how I ended up in Duncan. Some Pat Bowles brought her kid, another kid, down to a tournament we had there, and she asked me if I'd give them lessons. So I did one year. Then the next year she asked me, "Well, would you come to Duncan a couple of days a week?" And I said, "Yeah." And she scheduled all my lessons. So I ended up coming here. And then when I graduated, I applied and the job wasn't open. So I went to Elgin for 3 years. Mm-hmm. And I was at Elgin before, right when Elgin changed from A school to a 2A or 3A. Yeah. That's when Wichita Mountain Estates came in. So they were not prepared for the double size of enrollment because have you played at Elgin? Mm-hmm. The gym's fantastic.
Right, it's nice, yeah.
It wasn't very good when I was
back
there.
Then, right. Yeah, the gym is
And
beautiful.
So then, after 3 years, I was actually offered the head coaching job at basketball at Elgin, but it was the superintendent wanted me, the AD, who was football coach, wanted to bring his buddy in because he wanted to concentrate on football. Yeah. And so I decided I was going to leave when I found a job. And the very next day, Duncan called me and asked me if I was interested in coming here. And then
been here ever since.
Been here, and I really didn't think I'd stay that long.
What year was that? Was that
85, 86 was my
okay,
first year.
I seen when I was at the tennis courts yesterday, and I was taking the pictures and stuff to see how many All-Staters and championships y'all won. I seen like in 87 y'all won y'all's first.
When I was here, 87, 88 was our first year. Yeah. I mean, we won 87, 88 back to back.
Yeah. So how was that first group?
The first group was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I taught most of those kids when I was coming down in the summer, so I knew they were going to be good. And then when I got the job, most of them were freshmen. We were so good the first 4 years, I probably could have taken the second 6 and been a top 4 team in the state. Yeah. Because, I mean, we had 20 kids out, 15 of them were really good.
Yeah, right. So y'all were just loaded.
Oh, yeah, we were. And the bad part was that other kids were good, but they wanted to get to play, because the 4 freshmen started for 4 years. Yeah. And they were all 4 of them won state championships.
Right. So, what do you, look for? Because I don't really know too much about tennis. What do you look for in a player to be like, what, he or she has what it takes?
First of all, you got to have want to, and you got to compete. I mean, because it's a grind. It's hard work. Because tennis, and you probably know this because basketball's become like this. You've got to play in the summers. Right. Because that's where, you develop your game. And tennis is different because we really only have 2.5 months of our season, and everything else is built around to get to there. Right. So you're looking for kids that want to work hard. I mean, I've had some kids that really were not very talented athletically that just work so hard and become really great players. One of them is Stacy Elfrink. She's a physician here in Duncan. She really, not relenting, but she worked so hard.
Yeah.
She was 2-time state champion.
Right.
Alex Bauer's another one that kind of fit that mold. Alex worked, extremely, extremely hard. She ended up being the first girl at Duncan to ever win #1 singles.
Oh wow.
So you got to have the want-to work hard. Because
Yeah.
I feel like anybody can make a player if they want to work at it.
Right.
I
Right.
mean,
Right. Now that was going to be my next question. Like, what are some of the principles that you talked to them before the season? Like, what are some ground rules you laid
before
down?
the season, because it's not, we really don't have it before the
Right.
season.
Right.
We have a year-round program, and you got to pay the price. You got to work. You can't get better if you just drive by the tennis court and wave at it. I mean, you got to. It's what basketball players. What we need in tennis.
Right.
What you guys call it, gym rats.
Gym rats, yeah.
Because you got to put the time in.
Right.
Who's the greatest athlete in the world? Would you say?
Man, that's tough. Like right now.
Nah, no.
Just like period.
I know it's easy for me.
Who
Michael Jordan.
Okay, I was about to say. Okay,
Yeah.
I was about to say. Okay, I was
And
about to
as
say.
good as athletes Michael Jordan is,
Yeah.
he couldn't come down here and beat any of our high school kids
Yeah.
because he's got to have the skill to go
Yeah.
behind be an athlete. Now, I'm not saying Michael Jordan could catch on real quick,
Yeah.
but right now, you bring me Michael Jordan,
Yeah.
our high school kids would destroy him.
Right.
But if he put the work in tennis he did in basketball.
I swear, I thought you was about to say LeBron for a quick second. When you
Yeah.
asked me that, I was
I
like,
forgot about him, but
Yeah,
I think Jordan's better.
Yeah, I do too. He has that edge. I think so. So, what about countless All-Staters. You've had a lot of championships. So, can you talk about a little bit about your success as the coach at Duncan?
I think you need three things to have a successful program. One, and first and foremost, is when you're coaching, you're not coaching a team, you're coaching a program. So while you're coaching this group of kids, you're trying to figure out, okay, this next group of kids, what they need, where they're going to fit in at.
Right.
And, it just never ends. Second thing I think you got to have is parent support. Because tennis, you got to have that parent willing to take them all over to go play.
Yeah.
Because we have 3 tournaments usually here in Duncan, but the key is you got to go to the city and all these other places.
Yeah.
Like when my daughter played, she was a Missouri Valley player, which is like a 6-state area. So we went all over, like Kansas, Omaha, all kinds of places.
Right.
And the third thing you got to have, and I wouldn't rate it in any special order, is you got to have kids that want to pay the price.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to have kids willing to buy what you're selling.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So I have a lot of success, and so I mean.
And success breeds success.
Yeah, right.
I mean, when kids, because they don't want to be the team
To not win.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, and one thing I'm really proud of, I've been here 35 years. We've been to state all 35, and I think we finished in the top 10, 34 out of 35.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
And that's just counting the boys. You had the girls in us. Cause I started coaching girls like 1998.
Yeah, that was about to be my next question. So you coached girls for a long time. So is there any difference you think of men's tennis and women's tennis?
You teach them the same thing, but there is a difference.
Yeah.
Because there's a little more drama with
I
girls.
was about to say, what is some of the bigger differences?
Because, like, for instance, you and I go out and play, we get mad and argue, then we leave together and go get something to drink.
Right,
I had kids do it all the time.
Right, yeah.
Girls
that's
get
how
mad,
was.
they don't speak to
Yeah.
each other for a month.
Yeah, right.
So, and like the first year I took the girls over, because I give lessons to everybody, just about, even the girls when I wasn't coaching them. And I had 2 of them crying at the first practice. I said, "Girls, I've known you since you were 6. What's the deal?" They said, "Well, you hurt our feelings." I said,
Yeah.
but it is different. And I feel like girls kind of want to please you a little more than boys.
Yeah.
Boys are kind of like, I can do this, just leave me alone, let me do it.
Right. So, is girl like so would you rather coach like girl? Like, did you end up loving just coaching girls like Solar? Like,
Well, like I said, it was unique because in my position, because I give lessons all the time, so I'm
yeah,
working with them. But the reason why I definitely wanted the girls in '98, because Coach Lopan had them before, very successful. They won 2 state titles while he was there. Is he left to be the middle school principal, and I wanted to make sure, because in '98 my daughter was 7,
yeah.
so I wanted to make sure we didn't just stick a track coach in there that didn't know what was doing.
Right.
So that's why I wanted them.
Okay. That's crazy. Like that, these little things like that, make a, that's.
Well, and I've had some really good people work for me in my junior high.
Mm-hmm.
Like Clinton Neighbors comes to mind. He said, Coach, I know nothing about tennis. He's coach in junior high. I said, Coach, I don't need you to teach them technique. I'll do that. Can I do it in the summers all year round? I said, I just want you to coach them. Kids not playing hard, you get in the middle of them.
Yeah.
Kids not, if you see something like he's hit the ball here or here, do it. And Neighbors was really good at that. So
Yeah.
I've had a lot of football coaches, and David Payne was a great one too, because he was a basketball coach, but he was really good at recruiting kids out of junior high to come to tennis too.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
so you can take somebody as long as they're not. I mean, like those guys. Hey, I don't know anything about it. What do you want me to do?
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted coaches that would coach them.
Right.
You know?
Right. And so, but is it hard running like the entire like program? Like what are some of the things that most people wouldn't realize
One
that
thing
you have to do?
is how much time I spend when I'm not on the court. Like it's for the season, just scheduling all of our tournaments and all the stuff, all the little stuff you got to do, get your transportation. I spend a lot of time doing that.
Yeah. So when did you know it was like time for you to just okay, like?
Well, because I was just getting, and I've had a few physical things happen to me.
Yeah.
I had a bypass, and that's when I'm not supposed to be out there in the extreme heat or extreme cold, and it was just time. I got where I wanted to go to the tournaments.
You kind of lost that passion.
Practice
for it,
wasn't
yeah.
as much fun anymore.
Yeah.
And now, with the way it's working now with Darren,
Yeah, I was about to
Darren
ask
does
you.
all the hard work, and I just get to walk around and coach kids.
Yeah, I was about to ask you how
Because I'm
everything
still
is
helping
now.
him, and see what a lot of people don't know about Darren. Darren played for him. Darren was a great player. He was he was on a team that was state runner-up and won 2 state championships.
Mm-hmm.
And he went and played junior college tennis, then college tennis, and so it was great that we got him.
Right. So what would some of your advice be to like the younger generation of upcoming tennis players?
Of tennis players,
Yeah.
you got to work. I mean, you know this from basketball. You got to put the work in.
Yeah.
You can't. And I tell this to kids all the time. In the summers, they take a lesson. I said, guys, if you're just taking a lesson, you don't show up again to next week for a lesson, you're wasting my time and your parents' money. That's because you've got to work on what we're doing, so next time I see you, we can go forward.
Yeah.
And it just you got to want to, and you've got to work really hard.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
you know what? I don't know if you know this, but in tennis they say that you got to hit at least 10,000 balls before you really kind of figure out what's going on.
Oh wow.
So
Yeah, that's a lot of balls. That's a lot of balls.
it is.
Yeah.
And tennis is not easy to learn. Like, you play soccer? And I'm not ripping soccer when I say this, but you and I don't play soccer, but we go out in my front yard and kick a soccer ball around.
Right.
Feel like we can play a little bit.
Right.
Tennis, if you never played and I never played, we'd go out there after about 10 minutes, not any fun because we can't hit the ball back and forth.
Yeah. Right.
What happens is you hit the ball or I hit the ball, we spend the whole time chasing.
Right. Oh, yeah, I've done it before. You know, Jocelyn, my little sister. We played and I couldn't do it. It was going over the fence and I couldn't do it. I was like, I can't. And I was it's
well,
kinda
you
hard.
could. You just got to learn what the thing is. You got to learn how to do it.
Yeah.
And then practice how to do it.
Yeah, but there's a lot of those sports are really like they look not easy, but like I could do that,
But,
But then when you play, you're like, oh my gosh,
but you
that's
know what
hard.
makes tennis look so easy? When you watch tennis on TV, the pros make it look really easy
Right.
because
Yeah.
they spend and I tell kids this all the time too. They come out and they get mad because they miss a shot or two, and I say, guys, if you're working as hard as the pros do, practicing for 8 hours, 5, 6, 8 hours a day, then you got a reason to be mad if you miss the ball.
Right.
So I mean,
Seriously.
you just got to put the time in.
Seriously.
Well, I mean, how did you develop your jump shot?
It's a lot of time, man. Yeah,
A lot of
man,
shots. How many shots you try to get up in a day?
a lot, man. I would usually go 6 in the morning. Usually, my sophomore junior year, I did a lot. I would go 6:30 in the morning, shoot free throws, shoot some jumpers, go to class. Before I could jog, really, freshman sophomore year, I would go to lunch. I would eat something quick for lunch, and I would come back shoot. And then before the game, while the girls were playing, I was shooting the back gym. I constantly just kept trying to do it, because. Yeah, I mean, but I was trying to get somewhere too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot of time and effort that people don't realize.
They don't realize. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody said, man, he's a good shooter, but they don't see. They see you in the games, man, he
Yeah.
shoots good. But then they don't see all the time, all the sweat.
Right.
Of course, you guys got it easy.
Yeah.
You know why?
it's weird.
You can
Weird
take
air
why-
conditioner.
Yeah, air conditioning. Back when
Yeah.
I was in school, first of all, we couldn't get in the gym as easy as you could.
Yeah.
And you did it in the summer, just gosh, miserable.
Yeah, I would say Now it's
Now you
especially
got-
at the Duncan is beautiful now.
Yeah.
The air conditioner got the big
Yeah,
scoreboards.
but now you guys go in and work out for 2 hours and break a sweat.
Right, seriously. So, like, how was your play style? Curious about when you played basketball. Like, were you more of a passing type?
Oh, yeah,
point guard, or did you shoot
I was
it?
more of a no, because every time the coach, when I shot the ball, you know what he's saying?
What is it?
Why are you shooting?
Really?
I mean, I wasn't that bad, but back then
Y'all never 3-point line.
when
back
basketball was
Yeah.
real basketball,
then.
I mean, your goal was to get inside your big
Inside,
guy.
yeah.
I mean, it just basketball's changed so much over the
Yeah.
years.
So who was like your idol growing up?
Probably basketball. Probably Jerry West, the logo.
Yeah, logo. Yeah.
I mean, and
God, I wish I could have saw him on TV and stuff back then.
yeah.
Well,
Well, I just got to see him. Kind of. Maybe the last 5 or 6 years.
How old were you then? Or were you like teenage years when
Yeah,
they were
right
like
around
when Wilt was all in,
No,
all of them were in LA?
I saw Wilt play. I never saw him play in his prime. I'd
the
love to see
Philadelphia
that
Warriors and
monster
stuff.
play.
A lot of experts said he could play right now, like and everything.
Yeah, I
So
don't doubt it.
yeah.
But I don't think he was the best of all time.
Right.
Who do you
right.
think is best center?
Best center of all time? Honestly, I always used to say Shaq or Kareem. One of those two.
Kareem's who I think.
I always say Shaq or Kareem.
Kareem just and people,
He doesn't get talked about enough.
and
to me.
that's right because they
Yeah.
don't realize Kareem's kind of like one of the tennis players. He makes it look so easy,
Right,
so smooth.
right. Seriously.
And they had to change the game because of him too.
Yeah.
You know what they had to do?
Was it the lane? It wasn't the lane, wasn't
No,
it?
that was Chamberlain.
Yeah. What was
They
that?
outlawed the dunk in college because
Bro, okay,
nobody
yeah,
could stop him from
I
dunking.
knew that. Yeah.
he just catch it and dunk it.
Yeah.
And really, that's when he developed the skyhook.
Yeah.
Because best thing happened to him, it made him more NBA ready.
Right. And he had a great coach too.
Oh, yeah,
In
John
college,
Wooden.
in college, he had a great coach in college. Yeah. So you have any questions for me before we get to the?
Oh yeah,
bonus?
I got some questions for you.
What's up?
What position? I know in high school you kind of just played all over the floor.
Yeah.
What position you can play in college?
They had me last year at around the 2 and the 3.
See, that's what I
That's
figured.
what I'll be probably at Mackey. I'll be at the 2 and the 3.
But let's say you went Division One. You know what you'd probably be.
I'll be a point guard. Yeah, I'll be a true
See
point.
that's one of the negatives, because you were probably the biggest kid in the team at Duncan, right?
Yeah, I was up there. Yeah, I was up there. With
So
him.
you didn't really get to, if you'd gone to a really big high school, you might have had the opportunity to play point guard.
Right, and go ahead.
No, well,
Because because we had Sam and Javion. You know what I mean? And so my ball handling kind of got a little rendered, I guess, if you will,
Well-
when they were there. Then when I got at Tabor, they were like, "Well, can you handle the ball?" That was like the biggest thing. I was like, "Yeah." We had 2 point guards. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So I just had to get on the wing.
Think how much better you'd been
Right.
if you had been been groomed for a point guard.
Right, yeah. Because they at Tabor, they wanted me at first, and I was like, I've never really done it before. And they was like, oh, we can put you at the 2 and the 3. You can play some 4 at high post. But that was like 95% of the time I was the 2 and the 3.
Yep.
So,
well, because guys like you in a smaller school, they want you to get the ball, shoot it. They don't want you to handle it. They want you to catch it, shoot it, and score.
Right, yeah.
And
I was perfectly fine with it. I was perfectly fine.
Oh, yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, it's fun scoring, you know what I mean? But, like, people ask me, like, but Sam was probably my greatest teammate. Sam
he was a good player, great point guard.
Yeah, he was. So. Yeah, if I had 40, he probably hit me at least 15 of them. You know what I mean? So but we've been playing with each other since 3rd grade, so we kind of just looked at each other and knew kind of what was going on. You know what I mean?
But see, even in Duncan, if you kind of got to play more on the wing, and I'm not by any means criticizing the coaches because they're trying to win, so they got to put you in a spot
to do it, yeah. But it was at times trying to sell them that I can play like a legit 2 or 3. They was I know he played the 3 through the 5 in high school. Like, can he play the wing at like the college? I was like, yes, I know I can. I did it in AAU and everything. You know what I mean? But it's whatever. I understand McGuire and wanted to win. I had no problems with being.
Well, they have to.
I had no problems.
As a high school coach, they have to.
Right.
But like I said, if you went to a bigger school, they say, hey, you're a point guard. Yeah. We got plenty of big guys.
Yeah. But at Tabor, dudes were huge. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I don't have to try to post up anymore, or do whatever.
All right, here's another question for you. How much difference was it when you walked into the college gym as opposed to the high school gym?
It just felt different. Because high school, because like I was like the man on the team. Yeah. Like everybody knew like, oh, Kevin scored, blah blah blah. But like when you get even up there, like everybody was that guy pretty much on their team, or like 1 or 2 guys. They were either number 1 or number 2. A guy I played with, his teammate is the starting center at Hawaii. He's like 7'1" or whatever. He's huge, and they won I think 3 state championships in a row, and he was like their second best player, and he's with us. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, it's just a lot. It's just that air, you know what I mean? That like, wow, these guys are
and I know Coach
good.
McGuire, when you had long, hard practices, how much more intense was the college practice?
They were, at Tabor, they were a little more lax. They were very structured. We practiced for an hour and a half, 2 hours, but they were really intense. Really intense. You know what I mean? They were just,
But you had to step up because you couldn't okay, I can just I got so and so in high school going
right. It was always competitive. But now, always trying to prove myself.
You had to work for.
And especially me redshirting too, because I don't want them to be like, oh, he's just a red. We doesn't worry about him anyway. Like he's just, I wanted to be like, okay, I know I can play. I just chose to do this. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So high school, it got me a lot better. You know what I mean? It's me being in Kansas, but it was just, it's a crazy thing to be like, okay, all these dudes can play. Because in high school, you have some guys that play just for the fun of it, just they love it, and just for something to do. But like in college, people are like, that's your job, so to speak. In college,
Do you have early morning workouts?
Yeah, we had 6 a.m.
Yeah, see, my daughter did too. She had to get up at 6 every morning.
Yeah.
Go lift weights or condition.
Yeah.
Then practice at 2, but if she had a class and she couldn't go to practice right at 2, the coach would go out and hit with her, and then she'd go to practice.
It's a business. No matter what division, Division 1, 2, NAI, D3, it's a job. Yeah. I have friends D3 and D2. There, it's hard.
If you have a good program, you're going to do what you did.
Right.
You're going to condition, work out in the morning. It may change a little bit as the season goes on. What you're doing in season as opposed to before the season.
Right. Yeah, it's a lot different, man. But
and I really wish we could do that in high school.
Yeah.
I think lifting weights would be good for tennis players.
Yeah.
But we don't have time.
Right.
I think I had to make a decision.
I was going to say, because I know tennis usually lean. They're more like taller and leaner,
Well, like you.
Yeah.
See, you got a tennis player's body.
Yeah.
You might like to hear it. But I think lifting makes you stronger, makes you better, but there's no time.
Right.
It's more important for us to hit balls.
Yeah, but you want to be more agile anyway. You know what I mean? You want to be just huge.
Tennis and basketball that are related a lot. Footwork.
Well, I was going to say footwork.
When you're playing defense, what do? Step and slide, step and slide. Well,
that's how tennis is.
And tennis, when you're recovering, if you will hit a ball, your recovery step is just like playing defense.
Right, yeah. They do have a lot of likeness. So you ready for the bonus questions?
I'm ready.
Okay, so all right, first question. So Mount Rushmore of athletes.
All right, I'm going to pick two Mount Rushmore.
Okay, you got two.
The tennis players first.
Okay.
Pete Sampras, who I make all of our kids nowadays mad because I think he was the greatest of all time. You know who they're going to say? Federer.
Federer. I was going to say Nadal, maybe.
Nadal's. I like Nadal.
I love. Me and my grandma loved him. We actually would watch.
Well, you know why I like Nadal? Because he works so hard on every point. He tries to win every point. He just kills himself trying to win it.
Yeah.
And I'd go with Sampras. Agassi. People forgot about when Agassi first came out and got popular. Couldn't stand him because he was all about you'd rather look good than win. And then after about 4 or 5 years, he changed. As a matter of fact, he kind of quit playing, kind of fell off the face of the earth, basically. They decided to want to play again. He went back and worked where most people, like pro basketball players, think they should come back to the NBA.
Yeah.
He went back and worked in the Challengers and worked just because after 3 or 4 years, your ranking goes down. He worked his way back from like 200 in the world all the way back up to number 1 at one point.
Wow, that's crazy.
So I'd say Agassi, then I'd go with Serena. I didn't care for Serena when she first came out because I thought she was very arrogant. Every time she got beat, it was always, because I didn't play good. And then about midway through her career, she changed.
Yeah.
And she changed into a very gracious person when she got beat. I mean, and she's the kind of person you want the kids to be like. Because I tell you something about Serena, you don't ever want to stop on her. You can have her down 4-5-0, but you never know when she's going to turn it around.
Yeah.
And then another player you may not even heard of, Monica Seles. She was a great player. From 16 to 20, she won I think it's 7 Grand Slams, I think.
Oh, wow.
And then she was playing Steffi Graf. I think it was I don't remember what it was at, but some idiot from the stands sneaks on the court and stabs her in the back.
Oh my God.
And she took a couple of years off, and she never was the same player.
Oh, I
because
did not know that.
if that hadn't happened, Serena would have been, wouldn't have been chasing these other girls. She'd been chasing Seles.
That's crazy.
Because Seles, and I would have loved and seen Seles and Serena play. Because Seles, and they might have played a little bit, but it was towards the end of Seles' career. Because both of them just crushed the ball.
Man,
crazy. So that'd be my 4 tennis players. Basketball, it's easy for me. Greatest point guard of all time, who do you think it is?
I'm going to go with Magic.
Good Magic, exactly. Shooting guard, I hate that he replaced him.
Yeah, you ain't got Mike?
Jordan.
You got Jordan? I was going to say you got Mike? Okay.
If Jordan hadn't been around, I would have taken Jerry West.
Okay.
Right. Best center of all time?
Yeah, you're going to go with Kareem.
And then I'd have to go Bird.
Bird? Okay. I like that.
Then if I'd add a fifth to it, I mean, I'd be 4 my starting. The fifth one might probably be Tim Duncan.
About Tim. Yeah, I love Timmy.
Tim just did. It was just fun watching him play.
Yeah.
He destroyed everybody. It wasn't anything fancy.
Yeah.
Just.
It's crazy that he wanted to be a swimmer too.
Do you remember what they called him? I mean? Well, he's got a swimmer top bottom.
Yeah, Mr. Fundamental.
Yeah. And that's what he'd beat you with. He'd just do the same things, and you're thinking, I can't do it. And then the only other guy I would compare with him would be Mikhail.
Yeah.
Mikhail was almost impossible to stop when he got the ball.
Mikhail. So the last bonus question. So you have to start, bench, cut. So
Okay.
So Rafael Nadal, Serena Williams, and Arthur Ashe. Start, bench, cut.
It's bad you're putting Serena in there because
she's a girl.
it is because Serena's really a great player.
Yeah.
But just mainly because of the serve, she can't play with those guys.
Yeah.
I'd have to go Nadal.
And you're starting Nadal?
Yes.
Okay.
And bench, I'd probably go with Serena and cut Ash.
I had to cut Arthur.
But here's the thing: I'd love to see an Arthur Ashe compete this time.
Yeah.
Because the rackets were different, the strings were different.
Yeah.
And now they do incredible things with the ball because of the strings.
Right.
And you know,
Right.
if I don't have one, if you'd seen the racket Ash played with,
Yeah.
first of all, it's a lot heavier.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you something you may not know. Back when I played in my era and even after that, injuries in tennis were from tennis elbow.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, you hardly ever hear the word tennis elbow.
Right.
Because the rackets were heavy. So
Right.
everybody hit the ball like this. Nowadays, the rackets are so light, you get to snap your wrist up and over. So people a lot more wrist injuries than do elbow injuries.
Oh, wow.